What we have to understand in society today is many people live in a fantasy, many people live in illusions. We have to understand that people have their own objectives and agendas within this life that we live today. We have to see and understand the life that we live, people around us, what we participate in. We have to understand that many times in this life, we're going to be tested. We have to also understand that it's good to be real with yourself. It's good to be authentic. It's good to understand yourself. It's also good to know yourself on a deeper level and a deeper perspective. So when you're in society, you're not lost or confused on who you are. Oftentimes, it's been a influx of people in society that want to be high value, so to speak. When I mean they want to be high value, obviously comes into fruition with the term of wanting numerous amounts of monetary gains. I believe and understand that that is not a bad thing to want to be wealthy. But what we have to understand is at the expense of what? And at the expense of who, right? If we are individuals who are exploiting others to gain these resources, are we doing them a service or disservice, right? And many times people have this mind frame of if I'm not taking advantage of somebody else is taking advantage of me, so why not? And I say, what we have to understand is in society, there's many questions and many things going on. But when I look at how people are within their own personal lives, especially those who are upper class and wealthy, everything is not what it seems. You may look at it from a perspective where you look at them as high status individuals, high valued individuals, people who have monetary gains and resources. They may be living well. They may have all the fame, the fortune, the notoriety, so to speak, and you may want that, but you don't see the other things that they may be going through mentally, spiritually, physically. We only look at the monetary gains and resources. We have to understand is health cannot buy wealth, and at the end of the day, we have to also understand what place we play in this world because oftentimes we try to over accelerate our value. We have to understand, especially in society, what I've realized most of the times, especially in human dynamics and human nature, so to speak, especially with men, we've been placed in a state where we've actually saw the truth from an earlier stage when it comes to many various different things, when it comes to rejection, when it comes to failure, when it comes to the perspective of just being real with ourselves. Many of men have seen that. Of course, there's still a small influx of men who live in illusions and delusions, so to speak. So they may never understand that or see that. But on the realer spectrum and the realer perspective, when you're a man coming up in society, society will show you early on rejection, failure, and all these things early. So when you go into society as a young man, growing and developing to manhood as an adult, you're already ready and prepared for rejection, failure, the grind, working hard, building yourself. You're already prepared because when you face those things early, you already know in society that these things are going to constantly be happening over a time period until you reach success. But now, what I've seen that society has conditioned with women now is to show them a different perspective where it's as if there's this princess like mentality over the women. And society wants to do this to show us in society how we can be deceived right? And we also have to understand the importance of each other as male and female. But I do believe in society that many times men are shown earlier, obviously, because men have to just deal with it and deal with whatever comes with it and fix things and fix problems and struggle. Men are shown these traits early on so we can just fix these things. While women aren't really shown these things on in the early beginnings, but they're shown this in the later stages of their life, which could be very detrimental. So I say that we understand things earlier than later on. And we understand that, you know, we just have to live in the truth. Because if we live in a fantasy, it can be very detrimental. And even for myself, I saw many times within my own life, many various different things where I can learn from. And I rather somebody be honest with me than somebody lie to me, because I may not be the individual who may look the best, who may have the most money, who may have everything sorted and figured out, but at least I know within myself I'm confident. If I need to speak to somebody about something, I will speak to that person about something. If I feel like I have to say what I want to say or need to say what I need to say, I will do so. And I believe that confidence trumps all, because if you're an individual who is quote unquote looking the best to societal standards, if you're a person that has the most monetary gains and resources, is in shape, who understands the spiritual perspective of things, there's still things that I believe that everyone has to work on, because everyone has flaws and everyone has insecurities. So for me, I believe that confidence, self love, the understanding of self is important, more important than anything else, because when you understand yourself, you're real with yourself and you're honest with yourself. You may not have all these things that somebody else may have, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, if you're confident enough to go out there, put your best foot forward, you will be able to achieve. You will be able to achieve. And I'm a sole believer in that. If we're able to put ourselves out there, if we're able to be confident within ourselves and not try to gain external validation all the time, then we will be in the right standings to receive the blessings that we need to receive in society today. And at the end of the day, it's best to just be real with yourself in everything. You may meet people who may try to disrespect you and down you and try to make you feel less than because they're insecure about themselves. They may try to tell you that you may not have the money they have, you may not look how they look, you may not have everything that they may have. But at the end of the day, it's best that we just be real with ourselves. And it's best that we understand that when we're honest with ourselves, then we can move in grace and love and understanding. And embrace your flaws, embrace your imperfections. Because if nobody else does, you're going to have to, especially in society today. So today, I want to leave you with this scripture, and I hope that this scripture can help you in your daily personal life today. Colossians 3:9-10. Do not lie to one another, seeing that you have put off the old self with its practices, and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. Understand in this life today that we have the ability to be real with ourselves. We have the ability to understand ourselves. We have the ability to work on things that we may not be good at and improve. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're not able to improve. You may not be the best looking. You may not be the most wealthy. You may not be the individual that has everything figured out within your own personal life, but at least you're working towards it. Understand that working towards it is important. Grinding is important, because there are people out there that are not even working towards it or even care to work towards it. There are people out there that live with their bad habits and are fine with having bad habits and bad traits. Don't be one of those people. Understand that you can break free from the chains as well if you want to. I want to thank you for watching today.